Good afternoon. My name is Adam Whiteside, and I will be talking about Billy Sunday, the great revivalist. William Ashley Sunday was born in November of 1862. He grew up poor, so poor, in fact, that he and his older brother were taken by his mother to live in an orphanage for Union widows. As his father had died fighting in the Civil War, Billy and his brother went to live in this orphanage. They experienced such poverty, but at the orphanage, they were able to learn about Jesus and experience the strong Christian foundation that would later become evident in his preaching. As he grew up there in that orphanage, Billy's athletic abilities began to shine. So much so that it was taken notice by the manager of the Chicago White Stockings. The Chicago manager took Billy under his wing and eventually gave him an opportunity to play Major League Baseball. That opportunity ended up in an 8-year career where Billy Sunday shined. But while in Chicago, Billy was walking through the town and came upon a meeting, a Christian meeting led by the Pacific Garden Mission Club. There he heard old songs that used to be sung to him by his mother, and those songs tugged at his heartstrings. At the end of this meeting on the street, Billy was heard an invitation to accept Jesus as his Lord and Savior, and though he didn't, he was invited back to several other meetings which he attended. 4 or 5 nights that week, Billy went back to these meetings held by this mission, eventually coming to the point to know his need. There at that mission, he was led to Christ by the mission's founder's wife, Miss Clark. As Billy was converted to Christianity, that conversion led to him endeavoring to full-time Christian work. In 1891, he abandoned baseball and joined the YMCA. There he began to preach to young men and show them the gospel through demonstrations and powerful words. It wasn't long before his talents were recognized, not as an athlete this time, but as a preacher. And he was hired by then famous revivalist John Wilbur Chapman. 2 years later, he struck out on his own and began preaching in a number of small towns throughout the Midwest. And by the turn of the 20th century, Billy began preaching in the larger cities. And between 1906 and 1918, it's believed that he preached to more than 30 million people. Billy Sunday was a revivalist, producing large-scale revival endeavors. He wasn't necessarily a missionary by strict definition, but he left his mark on the mission world. Many people attended his meetings, and Sunday's significance to the missions world in the United States is seen in the way that he shaped the revival style. He became the bridge that joined Moody and Billy Graham. While it was Finney who organized the revival effort and Moody who made it business like it was Billy Sunday who made it corporate, systematic, and scientific. He came up with the advanced work and the organizations and appointments that they replicated all over the country. He contextualized his approach to a growing urban United States. And he contributed this great organization and skill to the American revival tradition. Billy Sunday was a great man, but he had, like all men, we have our arguments that we sometimes fail to see the whole picture. For all of his greatness, he held to what some consider a flawed theory, and that is the day-age theory. See, it was around this time that evolution really began to spread and rationalism and science began to take root in many American minds. So to counter that argument, to have an argument of his own, he adopted this Billy Sunday, the day-age theory. This theory states that when God created all that we know to have been created, that one day lasted longer than 24 hours. Well, that logic holds fast until you think about the fact that in Genesis, the creation account is centered around the evening came and evening and morning came and went, the first day, the second day, the third day. As we see that, we have to understand that there was a 24-hour period happening as we see creation taking shape. But we know that all men may have flawed arguments, but there are definitely things we must celebrate when it comes to Billy Sunday. Because those who seek to win souls for Christ stand on the shoulders of all the great men and women who came before them. We, and Billy Sunday was no different. See, in his autobiography, Billy Graham writes about Billy Sunday and talks about the great connections that they had through people and organizational styles. They were both ball players, and even at the age of 5, Billy Graham attended one of Billy Sunday's revival meetings. It wasn't there that Billy Graham was converted, but if you was to go to Charlotte and visit the Billy Graham Library, you would come upon a plaque that reads, "The progress of a strong witness for Christ." Below that title of that plaque is a quote from Billy Graham that states that we stand on the shoulders of all the great men who come before us. And this plaque demonstrates that there are shoulders on which we all stand, and there are shoulders to which others will stand who come after us. See, Billy Graham and Billy Sunday were eternally linked. And though they didn't know each other specifically, they had links that will last for all eternity. On that same plaque, it reads, "A Sunday school teacher named Edward Kimbrell won a shoe clerk to Jesus. His name was D.L. Moody. D.L. Moody traveled to England and awakened the heart of a young pastor, F.B. Meyer. F.B. Meyer, one of the great Bible expositors, came to the United States and preached on college campuses. A student was won to Christ there, named Wilbur Chapman. Wilbur Chapman attended one of Moody's meetings and began to work with Moody and eventually hired Billy Sunday to be his advance man. Billy Sunday became a great evangelist and preached in Charlotte, North Carolina, a revival that he led. That same revival and evangelistic effort led a young man named Mordecai Ham to Christ. Mordecai Ham then later preached back in Charlotte a message that saved Billy Graham. Only God knows the whole story of how each and every one of us play our parts together. But just a glimpse of these parts that work together demonstrates all of His glory that's for our good. God bless you and have a good day.